It's our first release of the summer season, and once again a slew of new updates to the Feedback Fruits tool suite. To start with, remember last month's discussion on topic tool? The point of that tool is to give a pedagogically rigorous interface for online discussions. And to that end, some essential functionalities have been added, ones consistent with other Feedback Fruits tools. First of all, groups are now an option in discussion on topic. With larger classes, groups focus discussions and demand a degree of communication between group members. So now you can specify whether students respond to the prompt as individuals or groups, and also whether they discuss each other's responses individually or as groups. On top of groups, discussion on topic can now make use of anonymity. As there's two parts to this activity, responding to the prompt and then discussing it with peers, there are two types of anonymity in use. First, submitter anonymity means that responders to the prompt will be anonymized, so students will see fruity pseudonyms instead of their peers' names. Then there's replier anonymity, which means replies will be anonymous to viewers. To make it easier to see the effects of toggling these, you can hover over the help icon, which goes a bit more in depth into when you might want to use these. The Help Center article also details how anonymity affects group posts and responses. And remember that at all times, teachers will be able to see the real names of all students, even with all anonymity enabled. Now for a look at our feedback tools, Skill Review and Assignment Review have received a UI update. Now under the Give Feedback section, you'll see a button appear when hovering over students' names. Or if you're using groups, a review button will appear per group. The table also shows how many comments have been given per student, as well as the average over the class. And Assignment Review will also show files handed in per group in this table, and clicking these will take you to each document. On the subject of feedback, we've also changed the UI for rubrics, making it simpler to add criteria and delete or reorder sections, and making it easier to distinguish between adding more sections versus adding criteria. Lastly, rubrics can now be exported in the criteria overview by clicking on the three dots and pressing Export Rubric. You can then take a look and share these spreadsheets at will. And lastly, for the major release notes, withdrawing ratings in automated feedback is a minor change but a much needed one in how we gather feedback inside the tool. If you mistakenly misrated us too low or too high, or if you changed your mind, now it's possible to change your rating by clicking on a different amount of stars, or remove it by clicking the score you already gave. And aside from these updates, there have been a number of UI improvements which you can read more about in the full article. But for now, stay tuned with our channel to hear the latest on what we're doing with pedagogical technology, and I'll see you next time.